Greetings of the day. Hello, everyone. We're meeting after a break, but hopefully with something interesting and new. So, today's session will be regarding modern history, and we will be looking through all the questions that were asked in mains from the modern history section. Now, regarding modern history, the first thing is that it is a static subject, so it can be easily covered. It is quite predictable. After we look through the previous year questions, we will know specific areas from where questions are being asked. And the most important thing is that the method that needs to be followed is one, you need to complete your basic source, which the preferred source is Spectrum or any other notes that one could have for modern history. So the first step is you have to get through your basic reading, and you need to have a grip on the basic syllabus and the chapters which are given in modern history. It is a very defined syllabus, and Spectrum is a book that can be followed for the same. After you're done with reading Spectrum, once you need to get better at it, you need to get a hold on it and know each one of your concept and each chronology and stories that went behind in modern history thoroughly. Then you will be equipped in a position to follow this session. So, assuming that you've done your basic reading, we will now be looking into how the UPSC is framing questions from the modern history section and what are the specific themes that they are following. So, there is a very well defined way of asking questions, and that we will be deciphering under this talk. So, the first thing is that I have color coded this document into specific colors. So the pink color is the first color that we will be discussing. So the just a guideline, I've used the color pink, then I've used the color red, blue, green, yellow and black. Okay, something like that. So one by one, let us look at the color pink. So if you can notice, the question asked in 2013 was on women. So the first color pink is for women. Okay, so there are approximately 3 questions that were asked in the theme under women, and these are questions updated until I think 2022 or 2021. We will look through the other questions as well. So looking at the first question, which was asked in 2013, it says, defying the barriers of age, gender and religion, the Indian women became the torch bearer during the struggle for freedom in India. Discuss. This was asked for 10 marks. So the question is simple. They are asking that despite age, gender, religion, like despite these barriers, the Indian women were the torch bearers during the struggle for freedom in India. So this can be addressed in a very lucid fashion. You can come up with several examples to discuss the 3 themes, which is age, gender, religion and the contributions of Indian women in the freedom struggle. So honestly, we will be looking through 1 or 2 themes in this video, and then the rest we will be taking later. So the first question is pretty clear. Let us look at the second question on women. It was asked in 2016, exactly 3 years later, for 12.5 marks, and the question goes like discuss the role of women in the freedom struggle, especially during the Gandhian phase. So now they are narrowing down to a specific phase, which is the Gandhian phase, and they are asking the role of women. So pretty predictable, same like the earlier one. What was the role of women during the freedom struggle, and in the second one during the Gandhian phase. Now let us look at the question which was asked in 2017. Again color coded in pink for 15 marks. So question number 13. So the women's question arose in modern India as a part of the 19th century social reform movement. What were the major issues and debates concerning women in that period? So basically, now they have narrowed down to another period, which is the 19th century social reform movement, and then they are asking what were the issues and debates concerning women in that period. So this is a little, the theme is a little different. They are asking about the issues and concerns regarding women. Alright, so these are the 3 areas. Again, if you notice in the 13th question, another theme, I have highlighted it in green, that is social reform movement. So there were questions on social reform movement. One specific one, we'll just take it right away. So if you can notice question 24, again it's on socio-religious reform movements, And they say trace the rise and growth of socio-religious reform movements with specific reference to Young Bengal and Brahmo Samaj. Okay, so women, socio-reform movements, and then there is one more question in socio-reform movements which is linked to Young Bengal and Brahmo Samaj. So the first theme is covered. Now we will be looking at the second theme. The second theme is none other than Mahatma Gandhi. So Mahatma Gandhi ji, he is the most famous personality for UPSC, specifically for modern history section, and I have color coded him in the color yellow. So if you can notice, question 8, question 9, question 17, question 19 and question 26. These were the questions which were asked on Mahatma Gandhi. So let us look at each question one by one. So let us look at question 26. And the good news is that I have given my own answers for some of these questions, which will be attached below. So you will also get an idea how to deconstruct and eventually start writing. So looking at question 26, it speaks about bring out the constructive programs of Mahatma Gandhi during non-cooperation and CDM, which is civil disobedience movement. Okay. So Mahatma Gandhi's constructive programs during two specific movements, which is NCM and CDM. This was asked for approximately 15 marks in 2021. Okay. Then in 2019, which is just 2 years ago, again they asked a question on Gandhi for 15 marks, and the question goes like, many voices had strengthened and enriched the nationalist movement during the Gandhian phase. Elaborate. So here you have to speak about Gandhian phase and what were the other voices that were strengthening the Gandhian phase. So somewhere related to what Gandhiji did, and who were the contributors or who were the voices that were with him and how they strengthened the national movement. Okay. So question 19, not directly on Gandhiji but linked to Gandhian phase. Okay. Let us see more direct questions on Gandhiji. Question number 17, throw light on the significance of Mahatma Gandhi in the present times. A very direct question, a very broad question, that you have to speak about the thoughts of Gandhiji and how they are relevant in the present time. This was asked in 2018 for 10 marks. So 2018 there was a question on Gandhiji, 2019 there was a question on Gandhian phase, 2021 Gandhiji's contributions, and in two specific times, NCM and CDM. Okay, now let us look up. Then there is another question. If you look at question 8, how different would have been the achievement of Indian independence without Mahatma Gandhi? Discuss. 2015 for 12.5 marks. Now this question number 8 is very linked to question number 17, 2018 and 2015. If you were to prepare on question number 8, which is how different would have been the achievement of Indian independence without Mahatma Gandhi, you would have read on him, prepared on him, and then you would be in a better position to write question number 17. So that's how you end up preparing better for mains. So yes, so question 18, question 17, this is related, and then we saw question 19, which is 19 as well as 26. Okay, now let us look at one more question which was asked on Gandhi. This is with respect to Gandhiji and comparing him with one more freedom fighter, which is Subhash Chandra Bose. Alright, so again a very innovative way of asking the question, that you have to speak about the difference in the approach of Bose and Mahatma Gandhi in the struggle for freedom. This was asked in 2016, 12.5. Very interestingly, this question 26, 2016 wala question 9 is given as is in your spectrum. There is an entire set of pages contributed towards the ideologies of Subhash Chandra Bose and Mahatma Gandhi. A very static topic which could have been easily prepared. Okay. So from question 9, you can also think broad and compare other leaders, Gandhi and Rabindranath Tagore, and prepare on them and keep. Okay. And in general, Gandhi and what were his contributions during different phases of Indian independence, right? The way we saw how different voices strengthened the nationalist movement. Okay, question 19. Then we saw constructive programs during NCM CDM. Okay, this gives us idea about phases, and then we in general saw the significance of thoughts of Gandhi in the present times, and the other one was how different would have been the achievement of Indian independence without Gandhiji. So all in all, we covered two themes until now, which is women and Gandhiji. All right. So let us come to the third, smaller sub theme, which is moderates. So if you can notice question number 25. To what extent did the role of moderates prepare a base for the wider freedom movement? Comment. This was asked in 2021 for 15 marks. So now UPSC is focusing on one specific group of leaders, which were the moderates, which you all must be aware of, and they're asking what was their role, okay, in preparing a wider freedom movement, a base for a wider freedom movement. Again, they are asking on moderates in the year 2017, question number 15, which is for 10 marks. What are they asking? Why did the moderates fail to carry conviction with the nation about their proclaimed ideology and political goals by the end of 19th century? So again, they are focusing on moderates, and here the tone of the question is a little bit about why did they fail? Why did they fail to carry conviction with the nation about their proclaimed ideology and political goals? So you have to speak about what went wrong. Okay. So again, interestingly, I have given you answers to both these themes, and I will be discussing it in the next section. Okay, so I have given you answers to Gandhiji, and I have given you answers to moderates, and the others we will be in the due course figuring out. So the third sub theme is also done, which was moderates. Now let us look at a few more. If you can notice, there are certain things that I've highlighted in green. So the most important one over here is the revolt of 1857. What I've noticed is that the revolt of 1857 is another important theme that the UPSC is focusing on. So let us look at the few direct questions on revolt of 1857 and the others which are a little bit indirect. So the direct ones are question 11, which is asked in 2016 for 12.5 marks, and they're asking just very directly, explain how the uprising of 1857 constitutes an important watershed in the evolution of British policies towards colonial India. Okay, so they're using 1857 uprising as a benchmark, and then they're asking that how it is an important watershed in the evolution of British policies towards colonial India. We're all aware of the Government of India Act 1858, which came after that, and how the British were assuaging Indians, etc. Okay, so again, British policies, if you notice, is another major theme that we can decipher from here. And very soon I'll be speaking about what were the other British policies or the other acts that they have spoken about, just hinting them to you right now. So if you can notice question 7, just hinting it to you, Government of India Act 1935. The way I spoke about Government of India Act 1858, similarly GOI Act 1935, question 7, just above question 11. Okay, this is one. Then if you notice question 5, which is here, color coded in blue, economic policies of the Britishers. So this is another theme that they're asking, right? Policies of the British, GO Act 1935, GO Act 1858, then economic policies of the British. Then some more they have asked that, what were, what was pertaining to, what do you call, policies of the British. They've asked a few more questions. Okay, so coming back to what we were originally discussing, we were discussing the uprising of 1857, and we saw one question, which is question 11. Now let us look at few more questions related to 1857 uprising. If you come to question 21, please note the 1857 uprising was the culmination of recurrent big and small local rebellions that had occurred in the preceding 100 years of British rule. Elucidate. What are they asking? That the 1857 uprising, it was a culmination of recurrent big and small rebellions. Okay, so this is somewhere linking what happened before 1857 and what led to 1857. Okay, so this is like a prelude to 1857, and then the question above we saw was what were the policies post 1857. So again, in your mind you have a clear idea of how 1857 is taken as a benchmark. They are asking questions before and after it. So let us look at one or two more questions indirectly linked to this. So if you can note question 28, why was there a sudden spurt in famines in colonial India since mid 18th century? Give reasons. So as you note that spurt in famines was one of the cause for these small and big local rebellions. Okay, and that led to several uprisings, and then the final one was 1857, or the benchmark one was 1857. So please note how 2019 they are hinting you that there were big and small local rebellions, and then 2022 they're giving you the reason. So if you prepared in 2019 in depth, you could have answered a 2022 question as well. Okay, so this was an indirect linkage. Now let us look at some more. And one more thing that you have to notice is that mid 18th century, 18th century is one theme or one particular period that they are specifically focusing on. What else happened in that period? We already discussed socio-religious reform movements. Okay, which is question 24. Now, yes, once again, question 16, as I mentioned, they are focusing on mid 18th century. Look at this question 16. Clarify how mid 18th century India was beset with the spectre of fragmented polity. Alright, so interestingly, they are speaking about mid 18th century India and how there was a fragmented polity then. Again, the reasons are clear. There was big and small local rebellions. Link it to question 21, just right in front of you, both the green colors, and then come down and link it to the spurt in famine. So all these questions are interlinked, they are on the same theme. Okay, then question 27 is question 14 from 2017. Question 14 from 2017 asked for 15 marks. Again, it's an interlinkage. Examine how the decline of traditional artisanal industry in colonial India crippled the rural economy. So again, they are speaking about what happened in 18th century. This was one more phenomenon being witnessed, the decline of traditional artisanal industries in colonial India and how the rural economy was in a crippled state. This was one more grievance which led to or which was intertwined with the local rebellions. So one more theme we witness. Okay, so all in all, the green ones also we have seen, and this question 7, as you can notice, it's on the Government of India Act 1935. And then they're just asking, it's like a miscellaneous theme, but then they're just kind of inquiring whether how the Constituent Assembly got inspired by the Geo Act 1935 and offer a miscellaneous question. Okay, so mostly we've looked at the green ones, we've looked at the pink ones, we've looked at the blue ones, which was with respect to moderates, and we've looked at Gandhiji. So now let us look at a few ones which I've highlighted in red, and then we look at miscellaneous questions. So the ones in red which I've highlighted in red go like question number 12. Question number 12 from the year 2017. It's for 15 marks. And what are they asking? They're asking, highlight the importance of the new objectives that got added to the vision of Indian independence since the 20s of the last century. Now 20s of the last century is another significant period that they are willing to ask questions on. And what is the theme? The objectives that got added to the vision of Indian independence. Okay, so that's question 12. Very much linked to question 12 is question number 20, which says, examine the linkages of 19th century Indian Renaissance and the emergence of national identity. Okay, again a little bit interlinked, but then the theme is the same, that how is national identity, Renaissance linked, how is new objectives of Indian independence linked. Again, question 22, very much linked. They're going back to the decade of 1920s, which we just now discussed is an important timeline. See, directly they've mentioned in question 12, since 20s of the last century. They have given you that word in question 12. And then when you come to question number 22, again you notice the same time period, since the decade of 1920s. So we realize that how 1857 was a benchmark year, 1920s is also an important year. Okay, so since the decade of 1920s, the national movement acquired various ideological strand and thereby expanded its social base. So again, it's a interlinked topic. So Indian Renaissance, ideological strand, new vision of Indian independence, these three we discussed. And then there is one of 2019, question number 18, which I've ticked in red. They are asking about British imperial power and how they complicated the transfer of power during 1940s. So this is with respect to your entire theory that you read on the several missions that came to India, the Cripps mission, the cabinet mission, the Wavell plan, etc. Okay, in the run up to Indian Independence Act. So you can club this under Indian Independence Act and the policies, etc. That section as well. So more or less the red highlights are also done. Now we will be looking at a few miscellaneous questions. So under miscellaneous questions, they've asked some more personalities. For example, Lord Curzon in question 23, they're asking about the policies of Lord Curzon and their implications on the national movement. Okay, that is question 23, very recent in 2020. They asked this for 10 marks. So what you realize from here is that even your viceroys and important contributions by important personalities, that becomes an important section to study. So Lord Curzon was asked in 2020. Going up, they also asked Lord Dalhousie in 2013. So how is he the founder of modern India? Okay, so this was asked for 10 marks. Then they've asked one generic one, that several foreigners made India their homeland, analyze their role in Indian freedom struggle, which is question number 2, again in 2013 for 10 marks. So we saw that Dalhousie, Curzon and several foreigners and their contribution was one more theme. Okay, then they've asked 2 miscellaneous questions on Battle of Panipat and why Panipat was important, which is question 6, and question 4, which is with respect to naval mutiny, and this is towards the end, just before freedom, and how did it prove to be the last nail in the coffin of the British colonial aspirations in India. So a specific topic again, but broadly, just to summarize, if you notice, up till 2022, these are all the questions that were asked from the modern history section. What is the method that you will be following? Number 1, a basic reading of your spectrum is essential, and not just basic reading, you should have a grip on that subject. Number 3, if you analyze the mains questions, there are specific 4 or 5 themes that have emerged. Once again, repeating them for the summary purpose. Number 1 is women, which was highlighted in pink. Number 2 is Mahatma Gandhi ji, highlighted in yellow. Then we discussed a small sub-theme, moderates, and then we looked at 1857 uprising and a prelude to it, and what was happening after it, right? What was forward to 1857. In that we looked at policies, which was what were the British policies. Then we saw a related question on Geo Act 1935. Then we saw economic policies. Then we looked at what were the various the topics in red, what were the various ideological strands, then how national identity was linked to Indian Renaissance, then British imperial power and the process of transfer of power, how it got complicated. So the set of policies and the movements that came. Then we looked at new objectives that got added to Indian independence. So these were miscellaneous, the topics in red highlight. Then we looked at personalities like Lord Curzon and Lord Dalhousie and other foreigners who contributed towards the freedom movement. So that's all about it. Once you're done with this analysis, you have to move towards writing answers, and that's the entire thing that they've asked from modern history. So pretty predictable and a very doable section where you can easily capture all of the marks because it's a static syllabus and pretty much predictable. So wishing you all the best, and yes, in the upcoming sections we will discuss a few of these answers as well. Thank you so much.